I'm Taylor with Happy Dance. Welcome to our lecture. Microengagement, value, and the rule of distance. Engagement does not appear all at once. The nervous system does not move from disengaged to focused in a single step. It moves in increments. These increments are small, often so small that they are missed entirely. To understand engagement without pressure, we must understand these increments because these increments are where engagement is actually built. These smallest observable units are what we call micro engagements. Micro engagements refer to the brief voluntary moments in which a dog orients towards the human without being asked. They are not sustained. They are not dramatic. They do not look impressive. They often last less than a second. A brief glance, a slight turn of the head, a pause in movement, a moment of proximity, a softening of the body when the human slows. These moments are easy to overlook because they do not resemble traditional markers of training success. They do not look like obedience. They do not look like focus. They do not look like control. But neurologically, they are everything. Microengagements represents a nervous system decision. The dog is deciding, moment by moment, whether the human is relevant enough to orient towards. This decision happens beneath conscious behavior. It is not strategic. It is not deliberate. It is felt. The nervous system is constantly assessing cost. Is orienting safe? Is orienting affordable? Is orienting useful right now? When microengagement appears, it means the nervous system has enough capacity to choose orientation. When it disappears, it means capacity has been exceeded. This is where many misunderstandings occur. When engagement drops, humans often interpret this as disobedience, as distraction, as stubbornness. But neurologically, disengagement simply means the nervous system is prioritizing something else. Environmental scanning, self-regulation, threat assessment, sensory processing. Engagement competes with all of these processes. If engagement loses, it is not because the dog is unwilling. It is because the dog is overloaded. This is why micro engagements must be understood as a capacity marker. It tells us when the nervous system is available and when it is not. Micro engagements cannot be demanded. The moment it is demanded, it stops being voluntary. And when it stops being voluntary, it stops being engagement. This is why pressure destroys engagement. Pressure converts orientation into obligation. Obligation activates resistance. Resistance increases emotional cost. As emotional cost rises, the nervous system withdraws orientation. This creates a cycle. The human asks for engagement. The dog disengages. The human escalates. The dog withdraws further. From the human perspective, the dog appears to be checking out. From the nervous system perspective, the dog is self-protecting. Micro-engagement reverses this cycle. Instead of demanding orientation, orientation is noticed. Instead of escalating, pressure is reduced. Instead of managing behavior, Capacity is respected. When the nervous system experiences orientation as safe and low cost, it begins offering it again. It is not because the dog is learning a new behavior. It is because the nervous system is regaining trust. Micro engagement is fragile. It disappears quickly under pressure. It disappears quickly under urgency. It disappears quickly under expectation. This is why it is often lost during training sessions that feel busy. Too many cues, too much talking, too much direction, too much proximity. Each of these adds load. Load reduces capacity. Capacity loss eliminates micro engagement. This is why silence is such a powerful engagement tool. Silence reduces information. Reduced information reduces processing demand. Reduced demand restores capacity. When capacity returns, micro engagement reappears. Dogs often orient more when humans stop trying to get them to orient. This seems counterintuitive, but neurologically, it makes sense. The nervous system orients towards what is relevant and affordable. When the human becomes quieter, steadier, and less demanding, they become more affordable. Orientation returns. This is not because the dog is subtly being compliant. It is because the nervous system is no longer defending itself. Microengagement also explains why engagement looks different across environments. In low arousal environments, microengagement appears easily. In high arousal environments, microengagement may disappear entirely. This does not mean engagement has been lost. It means capacity has been exceeded. Trying to force engagement at this point does not build it. It suppresses it further. This is why engagement must be built below threshold. Below threshold is not a training rule. It is a nervous system requirement. Below threshold, the nervous system has access to choice. Above threshold, it does not. Microengagement only exists where choice exists. This is also why engagement cannot be rushed. Capacity grows slower. It grows through repeated experiences of safety, through repeated experiences of predictability, through repeated experiences of orientation, leading to ease. When micro engagement is respected, these experiences accumulate. Over time, micro engagement becomes more frequent, more stable, more durable. But only if pressure remains low enough to allow it. This brings us to the concept of value. Value is often confused with reward, but they are not the same. Reward is transactional. Value is relational. A dog values a human when orienting towards them consistently improves the dog's emotional state. This improvement may not look dramatic. It may simply feel easier, less tense, less vigilant, more settled. When orientation leads to these outcomes, value builds. And when value builds, engagement becomes self-sustaining. This is why engagement without pressure does not rely on constant reinforcement. Reinforcement can support learning, but value supports relationship. Engagement that relies solely on reinforcement often collapses when reinforcement is unavailable. Engagement that relies on value persists. Value is built through predictable movement, through emotional neutrality, through reduced urgency, through allowing space, through allowing disengagement without consequence. Each of these tells the nervous system that the human is safe to orient towards, not because they demand it, but because they do not punish its absence. This is critical distinction. Engagement is not strengthened by punishing disengagement. It is strengthened by making re-engagement affordable. This requires patience. It requires tolerance of silence. It requires tolerance of distance. It requires the human to regulate their own discomfort with not being attended to. This is often the hardest part. This is a wrap for part 1 of today's lecture. Stay tuned for part 2 where we dive deeper into these concepts. Thank you.